All right. Thanks for tuning in. Aloha. It's Dave. Welcome to Save America, Vote Tulsi Gabbard. Welcome to my cutting-edge analysis about the dog and pony show known as the first debate, which will happen tonight in Miami, Florida. Oh boy, grab your popcorn because that's what this is all about. This is an entertainment thing. This is a ratings thing. This isn't really going to help you decide who you ought to vote for. The DNC has done a remarkable job in making the field so big that people are just, it's more like a lightning round. It has nothing to do with any substantive. And by the way, who's to say that these moderators aren't basically throwing questions out so people can just answer the way the moderators want them to answer? Because we've seen this in the past. And, you know, sometimes they'll ask a follow-up, say, okay, you didn't answer it the right way, so I'm going to follow up, make sure I heard you correctly, so you don't think Syria, for instance, is a direct threat to the United States. You don't think Assad is a direct threat to our country. Brian, what do you think? Well, let's ask it again. You know? So Tulsi Gabbard, who's on the debate stage, and look at these stats they throw up here. Bernie Sanders, for you Bernie fans, his name is first because he's old. Okay? Oh, and then you got Mayor Pete. He's young. And then you got most women candidates. And here we go with the bean counting and the identity politics and oh, and we got first openly gay, which of course is Mayor Pete. So Mayor Pete, check off openly gay, check off young. So there's my guy. That's what I want. I want how many other, but he's white and he seems a little on the privileged side if you look at him. So yeah, I can't vote for Pete. Pete did check off 2 boxes though. That's impressive. Tulsi Gabbard, nowhere to first. How about first? I don't know. There's got to be a bunch of firsts for Tulsi, right? First Hindu? They want to have first Hindu, right? They're not going to talk about first Hindu. They're just. By the way, people, I would prefer that those stats weren't even on the screen. They don't need to be. I want to know what the candidates actually stand for. That would be nice. So, candidates have been preparing for the tight squeeze by having aides time their responses. Okay, because what's really troubling is that candidates will have 60 seconds to answer questions, because that'll give you the ability. And you know what? It's bad for Tulsi Gabbard. Is Tulsi Gabbard explains herself. She has nuance, and she tends to think for 3 or 4 or 5 seconds before she opens her mouth, because number one, there's this danger of foot in mouth syndrome, and because she's so well thought out, you know, her brain, you know, surveys the information that's inside itself. It says, okay, Tulsi, here you go. Here's, it's like the computer. It's like Googling, and then the search comes back, and Tulsi's ready to answer the question. And she typically does so. It's all very smooth, and the way she presents herself is far more nuanced and thoughtful than this particular format and any debate format in these Democratic primaries will allow. So 60 seconds to answer, 30 seconds to respond to follow-ups. So again, Tulsi, what you're saying about Assad is he's not an enemy of the United States. Interesting. Bob, do you have a follow-up for Tulsi on that? Because we're still not getting the answer that we want from her. I know she's answered this 600 times on other programs and podcasts and interviews and so forth, and you got those weird independent progressive media types that have asked her these questions too. By the way, all of whom have thrown her under the bus because of a recent tweet that she made, because that's what you do. you endorse the candidate, you support them wholeheartedly, but then they send out a tweet and you're bye-bye. All done. Sorry, Tulsi. It's a non-starter now. You can't be supporting Joe Biden, at least as a person, because we all know he's a racist. Because it's got Jim Clyburn, you know, who's like this big person in government, who's been in government for as long as Biden, and probably knew Biden back when Biden first started. And, you know, he had all those years to determine that Biden was a racist, but he never made that determination. And Biden will parade officials, black, Hispanic, whoever, he'll parade them all over the place, but yet the evidence is overwhelming that because he hung out with segregationalists or people that didn't want to do forced busing during the 70s for whatever reason, whether it was racial or it had to do with convenience or whatever it was. Look, everybody knows what's in his heart, but just based on all of that. So it's good to be judgmental like that. It's good to determine somebody and how they feel. It's good to do a little Orwellian thought police, get inside the brain, and you know, that's good. That makes everybody feel good. And so, you know, please throw Tulsi under the bus because she defended a segregationalist, a racist, and the guy who, even though, isn't his campaign director the woman who used to work for Biden, and isn't she kind of black? All right, never mind. All right, I'm sorry. I'm going off on a tangent, and I apologize. Let's get back to the substance here. I just wanted to make it clear that there's a lot of progressive media out there that were all like, yeah, Tulsi Gabbard. And now they're like, well, she just blew it. This is it. Game over. Done. Stupid tweet. And by the way, even if you do one of these where you say, well, it's an unfortunate tweet, but it doesn't change the fact that I support Tulsi Gabbard. But I'm going to keep talking about what an unfortunate tweet it was. Is that helpful? Well, I know, Dave. What you're saying, though, is that you're just ignoring the tweet. Because we're progressive, independent media, we're going to critique the tweet. Because we need more viewers and more people. Well, if you actually want more viewers, you might want to try issues. You might want to talk about issues. You might want to talk about how Tulsi's voting record reflects what you want. And that she truly does carry the spirit of aloha. She doesn't do identity politics, and she doesn't think the worst of every human being on the planet. And yes, I found a thumbnail for the video that I did where it was Biden and Tulsi standing next to each other. Okay? Some people might even think that, see, here's the thing. You might stick the creepy thing on Biden, but that apparently has gone away. You know, for the launch of his campaign, everybody was talking about how creepy he was. And I think I did a video where I said, you know what, I don't think this is going to stick. I don't think this is going to stick. This is a guy, yeah, inappropriately put his arm around somebody, but this isn't somebody going in the restrooms and, you know, waiting for whoever to come out of the stall. You know what I'm saying? This isn't that. This is a guy who you know, hasn't evolved on the Me Too stuff. He hasn't evolved. He doesn't understand the climate we live in right now. Okay, he's a little touchy-feely. That stuff has a better chance of derailing than Biden than the racism stuff. It just does. It just does. And the number one issue that would probably be in Biden's favor on race is that the first African-American president we've ever had chose him as the VP. Well, Dave, that's to balance the ticket. You needed a black person and then you needed a racist. Yes, because having a black person and then having a racist is smart because all of the black people would be really happy that you chose a racist to be on your ticket. Biden's support with the African-American community is like it's crazy off the charts. It's sad, okay, but it's crazy off the charts. All right, in every poll. There's no poll that doesn't show Biden doing really well with African Americans. Just throwing it out there. All right, so I went off on a tangent there, a little sarcasm in there, because I'm swallowing a bitter pill, because I was looking up to all of these people online, watching their videos, and then this tweet comes along by Tulsi Gabbard, and all of a sudden, she's unelectable. She can't be elected. We can't support her now. So some people are now actually considering Elizabeth Warren. People, of course, going back to Bernie. Okay, Bernie, by the way, is friends with Joe Biden, and I'm like 110% sure, if you ask Bernie Sanders what he thinks of Joe Biden as far as race, he's not going to say that Joe Biden is a racist. Okay? He's not going to say it. Just like Joe Biden, if they ask him about if you think Bernie Sanders is a perv, okay, because Bernie wrote some stuff a number of years ago, that was a little questionable, during a totally different time in the guy's life, and everybody said, well, hey, you can't, look, that's just something he wrote, and it has nothing to do with today. And I would cut Bernie a ton of slack on that. But this is the new moral equivalency. If it has to do with race, it's... I don't play this game. And, if this channel ever goes away, it'll be because my head will explode because of, all the intersectionality or some ludicrous thing that has nothing to do with student loan debt or paying down, your mortgage or whatever it is that people are struggling with, or your rents are extremely high, or there's corruption in politics, and how we need campaign finance reform, and how we need to shut down the military industrial complex and have a government that's truly run by the people and not by the corporations and not by the special interests, and I could go on and on. So, okay, so the 2-hour debates will zip by quickly, with 5 segments each night separated by 4 commercial breaks. Folks, if we get to see Tulsi talking during the debate, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big... Tulsi actually getting to say something, it's going to be huge. And if Tulsi wants to make an impact on this and be like water cooler talk tomorrow, she's going to have to throw bombs out there. She's going to have to talk about how we're doing endless wars. She's going to have to say some controversial things. Well, she's going to actually speak some truth, and that's controversial. As far as who's in these debates, in case you didn't know, here's night 1, courtesy of the folks over at the fake news channel, CNN. You got Elizabeth Warren, Beto O'Rourke, Cory Booker, Julian Castro. There's Tulsi. They put her on the top row. That was nice, but they put Elizabeth here. So she's kind of like, and notice that, like on both of these, they're saying, where do your eyes go first? Elizabeth Warren here, and night 2, it goes to Joe Biden here. Okay, they don't put Joe Biden like down here somewhere. They put him right here and right here. So these, these are your top 2 contenders for these people. Warren and O'Rourke. All right, and everybody else can kind of go. It's nice that they put Tulsi on the first row. All right, I don't know what difference it makes, but here you'll notice too, they put Biden here, the same spot they put Warren. So Warren and Biden, they did put Bernie next to Biden, so at least they're admitting that Bernie is, kind of a top tier. And then you got, of course, Mayor Pete right behind Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris. Yep, and then you got the rest. Okay, you got Andrew Yang way over here. You got Marianne Williamson. It's night 2 is interesting. Night 1, I think, is going to be a battle that hopefully takes place between a real independent progressive type like Tulsi and a corporate progressive candidate like Elizabeth Warren. So I think that's what might shape up, because none of these other people, Beto might try to do his whole get up on the podium and start talking and grandstanding and filibustering. It's not going to work. If he won't even fit one platitude in the 60 seconds they're going to give him. 60 seconds is not enough time for a whole platitude. So I don't know how that's going to work out for him. I kind of feel bad for him because this isn't his format. His handlers are going to have to really do some editing. You know what I mean? They're going to have to go in there. So you get 60 seconds to answer questions, 30 seconds to respond to follow-ups. It's not looking good for Beto, okay? And who cares? Like I say, I could call this video debate format rigged against all candidates, including Tulsi Gabbard. The number of candidates obviously has diluted this field where you need a scorecard. Okay, Klobuchar, de Blasio. How the heck did Bill de Blasio? People in New York nobody wanted this guy to run for president. He's in the debate, okay? And what's he in the debate to do? Name recognition, visibility. Maybe I can write a book. I ran for president. Look how great I'm doing in New York City, which is a joke. There are too many candidates. And what's going to happen is these other candidates, they exist. So they're existing to provide cover, okay? It's almost like in basketball or in football, they're setting a block or a pick for the rest of the field. Like Cory Booker is going to set a pick for Elizabeth Warren, okay? Same with Amy Klobuchar. Same with Bill de Blasio, all right? So it's up to Tulsi to kind of like shoot over these people, you know what I mean, and try to get some points. Night 2, I don't know. It's going to be this top row of people, maybe minus Kristen Gillibrand, Hickenlooper, the breakfast cereal. He's in it. I don't know. This night 2 is certainly going to be about Biden and Bernie, and they're going to do everything they can prop up Biden. And of course, they got Pete and Kamala there, and one of these two might emerge as the winner. And then they'll be the new media darling. But right now, Elizabeth Warren, this is her media darling to lose right now. She is the media darling right now. And by the way, those wonderful progressive independent channels, many of them have decided, well, maybe Elizabeth Warren isn't so bad. Because, Tulsi is talking about Joe Biden as being, this great guy and so forth. And she doesn't think he's a racist like we all do. Because we all do, because we know what's in Joe Biden's brain. Because look what he did in the 1970s. He's like one of the founding fathers. He might have even owned slaves. We're not sure, but we're just going to go with the fact that Joe Biden is a racist because we say so. Because we can make these connections. Even though his campaign director is an African-American woman who used to... An opportunist, sure, but she is African-American, and she is working for Joe Biden. So, again, if you're going to go with a narrative like that, just ignore reality and do your bean counting thing, do your identity politics thing, and, tear people apart. The people who are all on board with Tulsi and say, look, this tweet is a game changer, it's over. Not for me. I didn't even bat an eyelash. I think 99% of so-called independent progressive media had to analyze that tweet for days and had to just shake their heads in stunned disbelief that this woman would practice her aloha spirit and continuously do it into the annoyance of the tribes. Folks, there's tribalism in so-called independent progressive media. It's there. I got none. You know what I want? I want our country to do well. I want our citizens to be able to get out of debt. I want my wife's college loan debt, student loan debt, forgiven. Bernie's proposing and Warren's proposing, okay? Means I'm going to vote for Elizabeth Warren? No. But I'd like to see a candidate come along and actually be against endless wars. Elizabeth Warren, I'm sure, is not against endless wars. Bernie Sanders wavers back and forth, talks a good game. I'm afraid he's going to get co-opted by the military-industrial complex if he ever got to the White House. Those are just some thoughts on it. And aloha. And thank you, by the way, for supporting this channel. We have increased the number of subscriptions. in recent weeks after we had stalled out. So I attribute that to my insane personality and my I don't really care what you think spirit that I do these videos with. I'm with Tulsi or I'm not with any of these people for the most part. I would consider Bernie to some degree, but this is looking more and more like a kamikaze mission where we all go in and we talk anti-war and we talk how important this is, and then we just blow up. and that issue blows up, and then hopefully that energy gets transferred somewhere where we can actually do something about the military-industrial complex, because it's our future. Do we want to continue to be an empire? Not sure. Not sure. I don't want to be an empire. Okay, I want to be peaceful and prosperous. I want to take care of our own people. I want to leave other countries alone. I don't know if that's a message for today. I'm told that people don't care about foreign policy and anti-war. It doesn't concern them because most of it happens far away, out of sight, out of mind, and it's been designed that way. So I thank those people who have subscribed. Also, if you'd like to become a patron, there is a link. I don't like to beg for money, but it is helpful when your videos, like yesterday I did this video, for me it kind of went viral. For the first, 2,000 something views, the video had the little yellow $sign, which means it was demonetized. And of course you have to get in there early and contest it, and then it takes sometimes days for these videos to be monetized. But if you'd like to support me, Patreon account I share with my Real Music Observer video platform, and I talk about music, and that's where, unfortunately, that's where I make actual money over there. But if you'd like to support me here, it's much appreciated. I'm doing this because I love Tulsi Gabbard. She is not like the other candidates. And no, I haven't jumped off the Tulsi train because of a tweet which really exemplifies her aloha spirit. All right, I'm done. And in more ways than one, maybe after tonight's debate, I might be really done. But we'll see how things pan out. Again, my analysis here, this is just a dog and pony show. This is why Trump did so well in the debates, because everyone tuned in. They thought they were getting a dog and pony show. They got a clown show and a dog and pony show for the same price, and the advertisers loved it. All right? Tonight's going to be boring because it might be actually about stuff that advertisers don't like. So we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, it's going to be the Biden and Bernie, cage match that people are probably going to tune in to see. And then all of their, media invested candidates like Pete Buttigieg and Kamala Harris and all of them. But tonight is Elizabeth Warren, and she is the front runner according to the media, even though she's not. So we'll see how this goes. All right, I'm done. Aloha. Been too long here, so bye-bye.